strong that team is. Making his way into the building. One of the bigger mixed martial arts fans I know, President Donald Trump, taking his octagon side seat for UFC 295.
Hey there guys, welcome to the channel. So let me know in the chat, do you think that there is any place on the entire planet, except for possibly Ukraine, that President Joe Biden could walk into and get a reception like that? I can't imagine it. I do not think a place like that exists. But Donald Trump, on the other hand, seems to absolutely break the internet every time he shows his face. Especially this time. He showed up at UFC 295 with Kid Rock and Tucker Carlson. And in the midst of speculation, apparently, that he may pick Tucker Carlson to run as VP. And I got to tell you, man, just the vision of the liberal braids all over the place, just completely exploding at the thought of Tucker Carlson and Trump on the same ticket. That alone makes me love this idea. But obviously, man, whoever he picks, the man has got to be careful. He's got to pick carefully. He's got to pick right, because the last pick was an absolute disaster. We all know that. But anyway, recently Trump was actually asked about Tucker as a VP, and here's how he responded.
Would you consider Tucker Carlson on your VP list?
Oh,
I
wow.
want to give you a hypothetical here. You're a big sports fan. You know, like Nick Saban's going to retire at some point. And if you talk to the athletic director at Alabama, he would say he has a list. So would Tucker Carlson be on your list of potential VPs? And how many names might be on that list as you sit and look and survey the political field?
Well, first of all, you know, I did my first, you could call it counter-programming, but I won't call it that. But Tucker wanted to do an interview during the first debate. And I think you know, because this is what your business is, we broke every record.
Monster audience.
In history. Yeah. I think it just hit over 300 million people. But it was for that evening over 207 million. It then got to 275 within a day or two. And the biggest ever was Oprah's interview with Michael Jackson, which was 125 million. So we almost doubled it. Now, who would have thought that was going to happen? The debate, the last debate they had the lowest audience in the history of presidential debates. I don't know if you know it. And I think the one tonight is not, it's on tonight, and I don't even talk about it.
Would you consider Tucker, though, that they based on those
I
numbers?
like Tucker a lot. I guess I would. I think I'd say I would, because he's got great common sense. You know, when they say that you guys are conservative or I'm conservative, it's not that we're conservative. We have common sense. We want to have safe borders. We want to have a wall because walls work. You know what, Ron, I used to say about walls? I'd say wheels and walls. Everything changes. The computer that you have in front of you in about a month from now will be totally obsolete. Right now you have the finest equipment in the world, and in about a month from now that equipment will be obsolete. The only two things for centuries that's not obsolete are wheels and walls, right?
That's pretty good.
No, when you think about it, right? A wheel will always be a wheel. It's never going to change. And a wall will always be a wall.
And
walls
all the time.
No, walls work. Remember when they were saying walls don't work?
Yeah.
And remember walls?
Joe Biden's got a wall at his beach house, by the way.
Yeah, and he does. And by the way, there are a lot of other walls. Nancy Pelosi has a wall also. And if she didn't have a wall, of course, it didn't work that well with respect to the husband.
He nails
but,
it right there.
Generally speaking, it would work.
What is important, right? Is it the best foreign policy brain? No, not exactly. Is it the best fundraiser? No. You know, that's all important stuff, but nothing for any position, whether it's in government or whether you're hiring for your own business, nothing is more important than common sense. And almost everybody in our government proves that by their lack of common sense. And Tucker's got that. Tucker's got common sense in spades. You can say whatever you want about the guy, love him or hate him, but you can't impugn the fact that he is very, very sensible. Now, that interview, I'm not sure it means we should all start popping the cork and just get ready to watch the show. You know, it sounds like that name honestly wasn't even on the radar until Clay brought it up. But I got to say, it's not a bad idea. I think it's actually a pretty damn good idea because no one outside of government swamp creatures really has a better handle on exactly how that machine works. And really, probably even more importantly than that, he knows where the machine could start to be dismantled. And I think that's really important. I think that's going to be important moving forward, which, you know, I think Trump is going to make that, or whatever Republican goes on to become president, they're going to make that a pretty important agenda item. And Trump definitely will, should he retake the White House. But, you know, we'll see how that strategy plays out, because you'll see here from Vivek, I've got to show you that, you know, there really is a lot of strategy involved in picking a vice president.
Himself with Trump, you know, right before the debate, they're going out with the video, got a few 100 million views on Twitter. And then yesterday, Trump's being asked about Tucker. What do you think about a VP option? Trump said, seriously considering Tucker Carlson for VP, okay, as a VP. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that.
That's very interesting.
Fascinating.
That's fascinating to say the least, right? One, what do you think about it? Two, have you thought about who would be a possible consideration for you as a VP?
Yeah, so I think Tucker actually could be very interesting as a choice. I mean, I think that's he's one of the smartest individuals I've met when it comes to understanding the soul of our country, and is, despite the establishment media's attempt to paint him as some sort of right-wing caricature, he's not actually a partisan figure at all. I mean, I think many of his positions defy partisan orthodoxy. He's an independent thinker, and I think could help rebuild. I think he has already helped rebuild trust in this country. And so I've been grateful for the relationship. I haven't known him for, you know, nearly as long as others in the world of media or politics have. I've only gotten to know him in recent years, and particularly in maybe the last 2 years. But I think he's a thoughtful individual. I'd want somebody in that role. Depends on what you want in the role. You know, for me, if I'm looking for an advisor and I want it in that role, I think that he's not a bad choice to be able to put in that role and actually be thoughtful about it. I think that there's a different role you could have for your VP, which is also an executor. And so there I might be thinking about somebody coming from the private sector. I mean, Elon Musk he's not a natural born citizen born in the United States, but I think he would be an outstanding partner to have, to be able to do the thing that I just talked about right here, right? Which is 75% headcount, odd numbers go, or even numbers go, doesn't matter, whichever one. Cut number one, cut number two. I mean, he's a guy who's actually done it and understand, and has also built things up from scratch. And I'm an entrepreneur. He's been, you know, I've been more successful than most. He's been more successful than all, so including me. And so I would want, the rule of thumb for me is, it's how I built my businesses, it's how I want to run this country. Who is better than me in each of the domains where I'm going to need it? Okay.
So yeah, I mean, as usual, very, very thoughtful, very, very comprehensive explanation from the man. A guy that MSNBC will tell you doesn't have a clue about civics, doesn't have a clue about how government works, but he's absolutely right. There is a ton of strategy, and you'll notice that picking by gender, who you like to sleep with, or race is not on the list, which is why we're in the disaster we're in the first place. But anyway, you know, all that stuff that Vivek said is probably exactly what Donald Trump is thinking, and hopefully exactly what he's looking for. But anyway, that's just my take, guys. Let me know your take in the comments. Who do you pick the VP to be? And don't forget, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.